In the early 1800s, a young girl named Ellen begs for a supernatural being to ease her loneliness. Her cries awaken a mysterious creature who makes her pledge herself to him eternally. In 1838, Ellen marries Thomas Hutter, and they live in Wisburg, Germany. Thomas takes a commission from his employer, Murnau, to sell the decrepit Grunewald manor to the reclusive Count Orlok. Ellen has a disturbing dream of marrying death and asks Thomas to stay, but he leaves her in the care of his wealthy friend Friedrich Harding and his wife Anna, along with their 2 daughters Clara and Louise. When Thomas arrives in Transylvania's Carpathian Mountains, he is shunned by the locals for associating with Orlok. He pays double to stay at an inn and is warned by an old woman not to visit Orlok. That night, he sees a group of gypsies digging up and stabbing a supposed vampire's body with a stake. The next morning, he discovers the village empty and his horse missing. He walks until an empty carriage takes him to Orlok's castle. When they meet, the strange and dangerous Orlok forces Thomas to finalize the property sale. Orlok shows supernatural abilities that unsettle Thomas. During dinner, Thomas accidentally cuts himself and passes out. When he wakes up, he finds a bite mark on his chest. The next night, Orlok asks for the Omas locket, which holds a lock of Ellen's hair, and refuses to give it back. He then pressures Thomas into signing a document written in occult language, implying it is the contract for selling the manor. As Thomas grows sicker and more afraid, he demands to leave, but Orlok refuses and insists that he stays to recover before leaving. After waking up to discover more bite marks on his chest, Thomas tries to run away from the castle but ends up in a tomb where he finds the Count asleep in a coffin, his body naked and decaying. He attacks him with a pickaxe, but Orlok wakes up and chases after Thomas. Thomas manages to escape Orlok and his wolves by falling into a river below the castle. He is rescued and taken care of by nuns from an Eastern Orthodox church nearby. They tell him that Orlok was a student at the Scholomance who became a vampire after making a deal with a demon. Meanwhile, Orlok boards a ship to Wisburg in his coffin, accompanied by rats carrying the plague. He kills the crew during the journey. Wilhelm Sievers seeks help from his former teacher, Albin Eberhard von Franz, a Swiss scientist who was ostracized for his belief in the occult. Von Franz believes that Ellen is under the control of a demonic vampire known as the Nosferatu, who spreads the plague. Nock is put in an institution after he murders and consumes sheep without cooking them. Sievers and von Franz explore Nock's office, thinking he is working for the Nosferatu, but they find out that he is actually Orlok. Thomas comes back to Wisburg as Orlok's disease spreads through the town. Nock manages to escape and kills a porter, then escorts Orlok to Grunewald Manor. Orlok reveals himself to Ellen and admits that although he is incapable of love, her promise has bound their fates together and intensified his desire to possess her. The document that Thomas was tricked into signing is shown to be invalid, which means the marriage between him and Hutter is not valid. Orlok knows that he cannot force Ellen to stay with him. So he tells her that she must willingly submit to him within 3 nights or else he will kill Thomas and let the disease destroy Wisburg. Ellen eventually sleeps with Thomas after confessing her past with Orlok. Orlok takes revenge by killing Anna and her children. Friedrich, driven insane by grief, dies from the plague while violating his dead wife's body. Von Franz's research suggests that the Nosferatu can be destroyed by a fair maiden's willing sacrifice. Knowing only she can stop the plague, Ellen conspires with von Franz to keep Thomas away. Thomas, von Franz, and Sievers go to Grunewald Manor, where they accidentally kill Nock after finding him sleeping in Orlok's coffin. Realizing von Franz's deception, Thomas rushes back to save Ellen as von Franz destroys the vault. Ellen summons Orlok to her bedroom and repledges herself to him, allowing him to feed on her until sunrise, when the sunlight kills him. Thomas returns and holds Ellen's hand as she dies, while von Franz confirms that her sacrifice has freed them from the plague of Nosferatu.